It's time to lock in so you can achieve your weight loss goals before the end of the year. Today, we're going to talk about how to do it. Welcome to the Fit and Fulfilled Show. If you're a busy professional woman who wants to finally prioritize your health and happiness, this is the place to be. I'm your host, Soraya Russell, certified macronutrition coach, mindset coach, and lifestyle transformation coach. And each week, I share practical strategies to help you build sustainable habits, boost your energy, and feel confident and strong in your body, all without the stress, burnout, or guilt. Let's dive in. So, today we're going to be talking about how to realistically achieve your weight loss goals before the end of the year, expectation management, and how to navigate through the holidays. I personally believe that now is the best time to start a weight loss journey. August, September to early October, because the weather's getting a bit cooler, summer's over, holidays have not quite yet started, so it's a great in-between time. And I find that when clients join our program around this time, it's the best thing for them because they learn how to navigate things like Christmas dinners, Thanksgiving dinners, holiday parties, and stay on track towards their weight loss goals. And if you can navigate Thanksgiving and Christmas and still stay on track, you can navigate any season of life. So instead of being scared of the holidays and worrying about derailing your progress, see it as a time to learn how to navigate the holidays while still staying consistent with your weight loss goals. So if you're on TikTok or Instagram, you might have heard about something called the Great Lock-In, which is a period from about September to December where you're supposed to be locked in on your goals, whether that is weight loss, finances, mental health, whatever that looks like. Last year, it was called the Winter Arc. I don't even remember what it was called the year before, but every year around this time, there's some phrase that comes out that's supposed to get you to really focus in on your goals. And this year, it's called the Great Lock-In. Now, while I think this can be beneficial with helping you get focused, here's why I recommend being a little bit weary about following the Great Lock-In advice. These trends prey on your desperation for quick end-of-year results. And so when you're seeing videos about it, it might say, work out 7 days a week, eat clean, fast, do keto. And so because you're like, yes, I want to be locked in, you might take that advice knowing good and well you don't want to do those things for the rest of your life. And so after you're locked in after December, you might not sustain that when January comes. These trends can also lean into the all or nothing mentality where you feel like you're either locked in or you're failing. There's no in between. There's no room for mistakes. There's no room for holiday dinners or holiday parties, which honestly is not realistic and does not mirror real life. These trends also sometimes make you feel like intensity beats sustainability, thinking if I go hard for this 12-week period, then that's what's going to lead to my results. But then you don't think about what happens when January hits, right? Are you going to be able to maintain those things? Because if not, you might lose a lot of weight in this next 12, 14 weeks before the end of the year. But then when you go back to your old habits, you're going to gain the weight back, which is really a waste of your time, and we don't want to do that. So before we dive into what you need to do to realistically and sustainably achieve your goals by the end of this year, I want to talk about expectation management, how much you can realistically expect to lose if you're about 80% or more consistent. So I'm going to explain a formula that you can use to figure out how much weight you can expect to lose. It's called the 0.5 to 0.7% formula. Basically, what this means, if you take your current weight and you times it by 0.5% to 0.7%, that's about how much weight you can expect to lose on a weekly basis, on average, if you're being relatively consistent. So when we do this calculation, this will help you understand what's the least I can lose and what's the most I can lose so you have realistic expectations and you don't feel disappointed because you're not losing 20 pounds in 20 days. So let's do an example. Say you're currently 250 pounds. 250 times 0.5% is 1.25. That's 1.25 pounds per week on average lost. 250 times 0.7% is 1.75. That's about 1.75 pounds a week lost on average. That means that if you are 250 pounds, you can expect to lose 5 to 7 pounds per month. Not 10 pounds a month, not 20 pounds a month, 5 to 7. And so this calculation is a lot more realistic because it takes your specific starting weight into account instead of saying the generic, oh, well, you can lose 10 pounds in 10 days or the generic advice you might find online. So with this example, this means before the end of the year, in the next 3 months, you can expect to lose between 15 to 21 pounds if your starting weight is 250 pounds. So do this calculation for yourself when you have some downtime to figure out what's realistic, because this is going to set the tone for what you can expect, not just listening to general advice you see on the internet. And being realistic, if you want to lose 30, 40, 50 pounds or more, that total goal might extend into 2026, and that is okay. You don't have to lose all the weight this year. You want to lose weight sustainably in a way where you could keep it off. That is the goal. Something I want you to remember is that motivation gets you started, but systems keep you going. So the great lock-in trend might be something getting you motivated right now. However, the systems you put in place are what's going to keep you consistent in December, January, February, all the way into 2026. So let's talk about systems. So we want to set process-based goals instead of number-based goals, because you can control processes, you cannot control numbers. Processes create the numbers and not the other way around. So instead of saying things like, my goal is to lose 20 pounds before the end of 2025, you want to focus on things like, my goal is to walk 7,000 steps a day. My goal is to meal prep every Sunday. My goal is to work out 3 times per week. Those are things you can track. This is better because these habits and processes you can hold yourself accountable to. Did I do it or did I not? Versus the number on the scale, you cannot control how fast or how slow that moves, right? So we really want to focus on what we can control and not so much what we cannot control. So here are the processes I want you to focus on if you want to achieve your weight loss goals before the end of the year. We're also going to get into specific holiday strategies and how to stay consistent with these processes when things get busy. But let's first talk about the processes that you need to be focusing on. The first process is walking. Walking is the best form of cardio for fat loss. It is gentle on your joints. It helps you burn calories. It helps you increase your metabolism. And it's also very stress relieving. We don't want to do anything that's going to stress our body out because that's going to increase our cortisol levels. So walking is very stress relieving. You're in nature. You can call a friend. You're moving your body's hitting the sun. So I love walking for fat loss. You want to aim to walk 7,000 or more steps a day. Now, that might feel like a lot if you're very sedentary right now. And if it does, you want to work your way up to it. This could look like if you track for a week. So track your steps for a week and see how many steps you're getting on a daily basis on average. Say that is 2,000. You want to aim to increase it week after week. So next week, aim for 3,000 steps a day, then 4,000, and habit stack your way up to 7,000 steps a day on average. Do not try to go from 0 to 100 because it's going to be very hard. Your legs are going to be tired. You're going to start hating to walk because it's so hard. Instead, you want to slowly work your way up to get there. That's process number 1. Process number 2 is you want to start lifting weights 3 to 4 times per week. 3 times a week if you are more beginner, 4 times a week if you're a little bit more intermediate or advanced. You can either do this at the gym or you can do it at home. If you're at home, you just really need 3 pairs of dumbbells, 1 lighter one, medium one, and 1 heavier one. If you're going to a gym, you can use free weights, you can use machines. There's a lot more to choose from. It's up to you. But you want to do, if you're doing 3 days a week, 1 upper body day, 1 lower body day, and 1 full body day. If you're doing 4 days a week, you want to do 2 upper body days and 2 lower body days. So we got walking 7,000 steps a day as process 1. Lifting weights 3 to 4 times per week as process 2. Process 3 is instead of obsessing over calories and macros and all these different things, I want you to focus on using the plate rule. I've talked about the plate rule a lot in my content, but I want to take some time to explain it. The plate rule is basically when you set up your plate, you're going to organize it in a specific way. You want half of your plate to be veggies and or fruits, a fourth of it to be lean proteins, and the fourth of it to be whole grain complex carbs. So what this looks like is when I say half your plate veggies and or fruits, you probably know what those things are, right? Broccoli, asparagus, strawberries, pineapples, things like that. A fourth lean proteins, this can be eggs, it can be chicken, tofu, tempeh, it can be ground turkey, turkey meatballs, things of that sort. And then a fourth of your plate being complex or whole grain carbs. This is things like quinoa, oats, brown rice, whole wheat pasta. And then you can also make room for a little bit of fats. I would say no more than 2 teaspoons. So when I say fats, I mean, for example, cooking oil, butters, avocado, things of that nature. The plate rule is very helpful because right now, if you want to lose weight, Look at your plates, your day-to-day eating habits. Your plates are probably mostly filled with carb and fats, right? Pasta, sauces, not a lot of protein. And if it is protein, it's not a lot of lean meats like those chickens or tofus or turkeys, right? And so by redistributing your plate, you're making sure most of it is fruits and or vegetables, which are very nutrient dense. They're low in calories. And so by half your plate being that, you're going to reduce the calories of how much you're eating because most of the food on your plate is now low calorie. And then by adding in that fourth of protein, you're upping your protein intake. And then having a fourth carbs, you're still having your carbs, which give you energy, but your whole plate is not consumed with them. So the plate rule is a very easy and strategic way to redistribute your plate to be eating in more of a calorie deficit. So those are the three processes I want you to focus on. Steps, strength training, plate rule. Keep it simple. Next, I want you to plan for imperfection. You are going to have at least, at minimum, 2 to 3 weeks between now and January where you have imperfect weeks where you're traveling, where you're stressed, where you're off schedule. And if you don't have a plan for that, you're going to completely go off track, eat takeout every single day, skip your workouts, and probably fall off track with achieving your weight loss goals because you feel like you failed. So you want to build flexibility into your system. One of the easiest ways that my clients do this is, for example, we built our own AI meal planner. Her name is Mia. Our clients love her. And we have Mia who creates meal plans for our clients. They answer a list of about 26 questions, and then it spits out in seconds a fully personalized meal plan. Now, we also created something called Mia on the Go. And this is a rendition of Mia where she'll create meals, snacks, quick on the go options when our clients are not at home or they need something quick that meets their calorie and macro goals. So, what this looks like is say a client is out of town celebrating Christmas with family and they obviously can't meal prep their food, right? The family goes to Chipotle or Chick-fil-A. They can go into our AI meal planner, Mia on the Go, and say, "Hey, Mia, I'm at Chick-fil-A. I need a lunch that's about 500 calories and 50 grams of protein. What can I order? Give me three options." And our AI meal planner will spit out in seconds three options that our client can choose from. This allows for flexibility, like I said, because typically what happens is if you're going out to eat and you don't have your meal prep, you're like, screw it, I'm going to order whatever I want. I'm not going to follow my meal plan. And then you eat a 1,000-calorie meal and drink. But with built-in flexibility like this, you can still stay on track when things are not quite how they are when you're at home working. And our AI meal planner is actually something our clients get access to when they join our program, the Fit and Fulfilled Academy. So if you know you need a flexible system, options that work for you when you're on the go, then I recommend checking out more about our coaching program down below. You also want to create minimum viable habits for days where things are wonky, things are not quite how they usually are. The minimum viable habit is basically saying, if I can't do X, I'm going to do Y. This could look like if I cannot eat my meal prepped food, I'm going to order a bowl from Kava. If I cannot walk 7,000 steps today, I'm going to walk 3,000. If I cannot go to the gym, I'll do a 20-minute workout at home. So basically, it's having a backup plan if you can't do the full thing you plan to do. This is helpful, especially if you are an all or nothing person, because typically, if you can't do X, you do nothing. But with the minimum viable habit, if you can do X, you've already told yourself, well, I have a backup plan. I'm going to do Y. So you still feel like you're accomplishing something because you did something versus nothing that you already had pre-planned. Remember to focus on progress versus perfection. Consistency over time leads to the result, but consistency for 1 week and then falling off track for a week and then consistency another week is not going to get you anywhere but losing and regaining the same weight, right? So average consistency over time is what we want to focus on. Next, let's talk about how to integrate the holidays into your plan. I love talking about this because I'm actually a Christmas baby. Well, not Christmas. I was born on December 23rd. So I actually love Christmas time because I get Christmas, I get my birthday. And so I love talking about strategies on how to enjoy the holidays and still stay on track towards achieving your goals. So let's talk about it. You don't want to avoid holiday foods. You want to learn how to integrate them strategically. When you can do this, it doesn't matter if you're at a Christmas dinner, holiday party, birthday trip, you know how to still enjoy all your favorite foods, eat good, while still staying on track. So something I always talk to clients about is the 80-20 rule. This means that 80% of your foods should come from whole foods, whole grains, vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, and 20% fun foods. This is a rule I like to have my clients follow all year round, not just during the holidays. So this could look like you have whole foods for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then maybe you have a cookie as your evening snack. Maybe you have chocolate as an evening snack. Maybe you have chips as an afternoon snack, right? You're still kind of eating the 80% whole foods, but that 20% helps you feel satisfied so you don't feel restricted or deprived and don't have crazy cravings. So have the same mindset around holiday parties, right? Make sure that when you're putting your plate together, you have some sort of vegetable on the plate, have some sort of protein, meat, have some sort of carb. That could be your mac and cheese, that could be your rice, whatever kind of things that you enjoy, but you still have that balanced plate, even though it might look a little bit different than what you would make at home. And something that really helps you not overindulge when you're eating out or eating at a holiday party is having a protein rich snack before you go. This will absolutely change your life. I started doing this a couple years ago. My clients do it, and it is a big secret hack to help you not overindulge. Because what I see a lot of women do is they will starve themselves all day to make room for that holiday meal. They get to the holiday party and they go crazy. They eat everything in sight, they're hangry, and that does not lead to a good outcome. So, what you want to do instead is about an hour before you go to this holiday event, have a protein bar or a protein drink. That not only helps you make sure you're hitting your protein goals for the day, but it also makes sure that when you get there, you're not hangry. You're a little bit hungry, you're ready to eat, but you're not going to be making decisions from a place of starvation. You'll be able to think with a clear mind, which will help you follow things like the 80-20 rule, the plate rule, and just help you make better decisions around food. Because I always like to say too, when you're at a holiday event, don't just eat everything. Eat the things that you actually want to eat. Don't put random stuff on your plate. If there is green bean casserole, you don't like green bean casserole, don't eat it just because you're at a holiday party, because it's going to be a waste of your time. If you love mac and cheese, if you love ham, if you love whatever vegetable that you like. Have mac and cheese as your carb, have the ham as your protein, have green beans as your vegetable, and then have a little serving of dessert. But have the dessert you actually want. Have the peach cobbler or the cake or the cookie, but don't have everything. If you know your favorite food is peach cobbler, just have that as your dessert. Don't try to sample everything when you know you only really want that one dessert. Something I like to do as well is focus on one indulgence per event. Meaning one thing that I'm like, oh, this is the thing I'm really looking forward to. So I'll give you an example. Last week, I went to an outdoor movie with my friend. At the outdoor movie, you can order pizza to eat during the movie, but she also wanted to get ice cream afterwards. I was like, okay, what do I like more, pizza or ice cream? I actually do like pizza more, but the ice cream was going to be like an after thing for us to do. And so what I did is instead of having pizza and ice cream, I said, I'm going to eat dinner before I go to the event, so I'm not hungry. So I ate my dinner at home, went to the movie, watched it, then we got ice cream afterwards. So this was great because I still got to indulge in my ice cream, but I had dinner before, so I'm not indulging on multiple things, right? It's great to choose one thing because then you're not overeating dinner and overeating dessert. You focus on the one thing you want the most and let that be your indulgence. Also, if you're traveling for holidays coming up here, whether that's Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, you want to focus on 2 to 3 non-negotiables you're going to do regardless of your location. That could look like having protein with breakfast every morning, no matter where you are, 8 hours of sleep, no matter where you are. So focus on 2 to 3 habits that you'll maintain regardless of your location. This helps you have an anchor to focus on so that you still feel like you have some semblance of control over your day-to-day situation. And something else that's very helpful when family and friends are involved is bring them along with you. So if you're at your grandma's house for Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever it is, say, hey guys, I'm going to go for a morning walk. Does anyone want to get up with me and walk? They might say, I don't want to get up that early. And you can negotiate. You can say, okay, maybe we'll go at 9 instead of 8, right? Maybe we'll go to this park instead of walking in the neighborhood. And so bringing family or friends along with you is a great way to still feel like you're integrated into holiday activities while still staying on track with your goals. And you're an example to the people around you versus just saying, hey, you should do this. They're like, oh, Soraya goes on morning walks. This is kind of nice. Maybe I want to start being a part of this habit with her. It's also normal to have to pivot your workout routine when you are traveling or visiting family or things are a little bit hectic. And so we talked about the minimum viable habit. Something else that's very helpful is having a routine plan for when you're out of town. So, for example, with our clients, typically when they're going on a trip, whether that's like they're going on vacation, they're going to visit family, they will not work out that week and they will just walk every day. So, say that they typically walk 7,000 steps a day, right? When they're on vacation or they're visiting family, they'll walk 10,000 steps a day, but they won't go to the gym or do a strength training workout. So this helps them make sure they're still getting their movement in, but they're not tied to having to go to a gym, which can take away from that family time. Some other things is a tradition I do in my household is that on Christmas morning, we typically go for a hike. And so it's really fun because it's a way for everyone to get active, do something fun, spend time together while making sure I and others are still staying on track with their movement goals because we typically don't work out or go to the gym on Christmas Day. Pretty sure the gym's closed. Another important aspect if you want to achieve your weight loss goals before the end of the year is stress management. Stress management is not selfish, it's strategic. If you struggled during the holidays because maybe you've lost someone, or maybe you are the host, maybe you have kids, it can be a lot going on. So you might enjoy the holidays, but also have extra responsibilities. If you do not have stress management protocols, it's going to be a lot easier for you to fall off track with taking care of yourself because you're going to be taking care of so many other things and taking care of everybody else. Holiday stress triggers emotional eating more than any other time of the year. I see so many women fall into the trap of emotionally eating a lot more because there's candy available from Halloween. There's cookies available from Christmas. There's leftovers from Thanksgiving. And so there's all this food around plus the holiday stress mixed with cravings. And so that's a recipe for disaster. So you want to build in stress relief before you actually get stressed. This could look like breathing activities, a regular yoga practice, a regular stretching practice, regular morning or midday walks whenever you know that the stressful thing might be coming, right? Building it in, setting boundary around events that drain you. If you know that you're hosting Thanksgiving or Christmas, let people know what to expect. Let people know what is and is not acceptable. And that way that makes your job as a host easier. Remember that saying no to some things and some people is saying yes to you and yes to your health. You don't have to go to every holiday party if you don't want to. There obviously are some that you're going to want to go to, but if there are others where it's like, that's not really worth my time, maybe it's not an event I'm interested in. Maybe I'm burned out this week. Don't go. Say no. That's okay. Choosing yourself is going to be the best decision every single time. I know this sounds morbid, but when you're on your deathbed, you're going to think about the life that you lived, the memories you created, the things that you accomplished, right? And so those things come from you saying no to people who are in the way of you achieving those things. So stop caring so much about what other people think and focusing on living the life that you want, because that's what's going to be the memory that you have at the end of the day. So here are some common mistakes to avoid if you want to achieve your weight loss goals before the end of the year. Number one is not taking the holidays into account. If you plan to work out 4 days a week, walk 7,000 steps a day, follow the plate rule like we talked about, that's great. But if you don't have a backup plan for when holidays come and you don't do those things on those days, you're going to feel disappointed, defeated, and fall off completely. So have an altered version of your plan for holiday weeks and holiday days. Number two is setting unrealistic expectations. We talked about how much weight you can realistically expect to lose before the end of the year. Do not try to lose 40 pounds by the end of December. It's not going to happen. And if it does, it's not going to stick because whatever you did is very unsustainable. So focus on sustainability because if you lose 40 pounds and it takes 6 months, doesn't matter, you lost the 40 pounds. But if you lose the 40 pounds in 2 months, but then gain it back 4 months later, that's a waste of time, right? It's like you never lost the weight in the first place. So focus on sustainability. It doesn't matter how long you get there. It just matters that you get there and you sustain it. So that's what you want to focus on. Mistake number three, which isn't talked about enough, is having a friend or family member as an accountability partner. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not going to work. And here's the reason why. If you have a family or friend as your accountability partner, you're two people who don't really know what you're doing, don't know if the other person's really going to stay consistent. And so if they fall off track, what happens? You fall off track. If you guys decide, okay, we're going to cut our calories super low, and that's what we're going to do just because it seems like the fastest way, you guys are both doing unsustainable things. And so you might have an accountability partner, but that person could disappear. Or you guys could be holding each other accountable to something that's not sustainable. Instead, you want to have an actual professional who can help create a personalized plan for you with nutrition, fitness, mindset, and hold you accountable along the way. That way, you know you have someone you can trust to be there for you, someone who knows what they're talking about, someone who can answer questions for you, and ensure that you actually achieve and maintain your goals in a sustainable way. So if you want to know for sure that you will achieve your goals by the end of the year, then I definitely recommend learning more about our coaching program, the Fit and Fulfilled Academy, because we've helped hundreds of women do it, ages 30 through 60, PCOS, hypothyroidism, menopause. And like I said earlier, this is the best time of the year to start because it's in between the summer and the holidays, and will teach you how to navigate the holidays with confidence so you can achieve and maintain your goals. And you can get all the details down below. Mistake number 4 is obsessing over the scale. You want to focus on what's in your realm of control, which is your processes, your habits, your systems, right? If things are trending in the right direction, it's okay if you're not losing the set 1.25, 1.75 pounds a week. Keep going, because if you keep going with those habits, you will reach your goal inevitably. Remember that your timeline does not have to end December 31st. This is a great time to get started. You can ride the wave of the great lock-in and motivation, but the goal is to create habits that stick. And these processes and holiday planning tips that I gave you will help you do that. So thank you so much for tuning in to the Fit and Fulfilled show today. I hope you walked away with actionable strategies that you can start implementing right away to feel more energized and fulfilled in your personal and professional life. And if you found this helpful in any way, I ask that you please do me a favor and subscribe and leave a review. This helps other busy professional women discover these strategies so they can also thrive in their personal and professional lives. And if you want to lose 20 to 50 pounds without giving up your favorite foods, I would love to invite you to apply for our program, the Fit and Fulfilled Academy. In the Academy, we provide the personalized guidance, coaching, and support that you need with nutrition, fitness, and mindset to achieve lasting weight loss. You can get all the details down below. Next week, we're diving into a brand new topic that you're not going to want to miss. But until then, remember you deserve to feel as confident in your body as you do in your career. Take care.